Nithyanandam. With all auspicious blessings of my Guru, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda, I welcome all of you to this video. So this video is very special and very, I would say, beautiful to be making for all of us, and also it's a great process for myself. So actually what happened is, past 2 days I've been, especially since March 3rd, where Swamiji had again said, this is actually the Living Enlightenment book. It's a deity. Like how the Bhagavad Gita is a deity, like that is a Living Enlightenment book. And this book, and actually from way back, from way back, Swamiji actually have said that even when I was like a devotee outside, there was to be this thing that this book is the book where, if you have any problems, you can just speak to the book, and when you open any page, it gives you a solution. So I know that when I used to, before knowing Swamiji, I used to hear of these things where books written by Hindu gurus, namely Sai Baba and many other masters, where I had friends who were following those masters, and they would tell me that, this book, Baba says that if you have any problem, just speak to it, and you'll get a solution and for your problem and all of that. So I've never tried it, but I've heard of such things. So when this Living Enlightenment book first came to my hands when I was a devotee, and I actually tried, and the first thing I remember was I wasn't having an issue, but I was just like, for whatever collective problems that I had, I remember the first time this book actually really experienced something from this book, where actually I'm not a fan of reading this kinds of books, if you may say. So, but the first time when I tried was when I was 18 years old, 17 and a half, and there was a collective, like continuous things that were going on, some issues, and I was just sitting in the puja room, and like Swamiji is my resort, my final resort, to just sit there and like to find that peace that I'm looking for. So then I came across this book amongst maybe 100 other books that we had of Swamiji's, and I remember that this is what they said about this book. So I was like, okay, let's use this now. So it's not like let's try it or let's check it out. So I just closed my eyes and I just opened to a page, and I remember very vividly that page that I opened to for the first time was my relationship with this book, was about how to start a relationship with the Guru. So I remember it had like a long, like some introduction, and in the end it says, it's just like, it said, okay, now you sit, breathe, close your eyes, remember Swamiji, and declare a relationship with Swamiji. And I actually did it, and that moment when I just like did it, like just followed the book, I remember feeling something so deep in my heart. And since then, I think 2 months later, life has taken a very a beautiful, like 360-degree turn. Even the relationship with the master has gone to an unimaginable, unfathomable level altogether. So do try this book. It's available on a free download, and it's in PDF version. All the links will be down below. So how it works with PDF is like, you can just type in any number of the page of the book, and you would definitely, just before you start, just whatever problems that you have, look at Swamiji's this picture, tell him, and go to that sincere space in your heart and just type in any number or scroll down to any pages, and you would definitely see a shift happening. And very recently Swamiji said, on March 3rd, 2018, Swamiji had said that if you spend 21 minutes every single day, you should be spending 21 minutes every single day on this book, you will definitely see a transformation, a shift, and those things. So what I've been doing past 2 days is, I would actually ask this book, like, what should I speak now? What should I speak now? So today when I opened, I was thinking, my brain was thinking from the cognition of, something for the people, like whatever problems that you have. So, but when I opened the book, it came to a very unusual, I would say, segment, unusual chapter that I was thinking, how would this be completely relatable to every single person? But then I thought, just go ahead with it. So this topic, this chapter that I've come to is the chapter of guilt. But there is a particular segment that I actually opened to. It's about master-disciple relationship. So Swamiji says here that he has seen a lot of people creating guilt for themselves when it comes to the master-disciple relationship, because we tend to have fixed ideas of how we should be, how we should project ourselves, how we should present ourselves, how we should receive the master, accept the master, how we should cognize him. So there's a lot of already preconceived and like your own set of ideas that you're like, okay, I have to be like this. Therefore, when you don't, that is actually like the triggering point for guilt itself. And now Swamiji says, just receive the master in the way in which you are ready. That is enough. Swamiji says, every state is right, every stage is right, every relationship is right. Just be authentic and integrated about what you feel. That is enough. So now for most of us, I'm sure not everybody have the same feeling or same whatever. There is no ups or downs. It's just because Swamiji is everything. He pervades everything and everybody. So there cannot be just one stream of the way how you even relate with Swamiji. So when this particular paragraph came, just receive the master in the way in which you are ready. That is enough. Every state is right, every stage is right, every relationship is right. Just be authentic and integrated to what you feel about you. That is enough. So I remember when I read this particular paragraph, I was just thinking that how it started for me. Like when I before sharing about my life, I would like to say also one thing that, Swamiji always says, in this planet Earth where there are 6 billion people, it's only a portion of them knows Swamiji and that he exists and that he has taken a human body just like us, and his name is Paramahamsa Nithyananda. This is how he looks like. Only a portion of us, maybe 1 million of us, would know Swamiji. Why is this? Because Swamiji says, before even we know Swamiji and that he exists and his name is Paramahamsa Nithyananda and this is where we can find him, even through the presence of online, Swamiji says, even for that, even to know him and that he exists and that his name is this, he should have seen us first and said yes to us. Yes to having the disciple relation, guru relationship with us. So even before we knew who Swamiji is, Swamiji should have seen us first and decided to have that guru-disciple relationship with us. Only after then we even know who Swamiji is. That is why sometimes, people who, like people especially from the western side, they don't even know, of course nowadays even Eastern, they don't even cognize that, this Rudraksha or even the Kandimala or even this kind of a beautiful face, but they have seen Swamiji in their dream. Swamiji have come into their dream, and then they'll be like, who is this lady? Because at the time he used to have like, even until now he has like long hair. So I remember many disciples of Swamiji who are from the western region, it'd be like they had a dream. Swamiji came first in their dream. They saw the saffron robe and this beautiful full moon face and these things. So that's what I wanted to share first with all of you. Now, before moving into my experiences with this particular statement that Swamiji have said. So when I first knew Swamiji, that Swamiji is when I was 13, and at the time of knowing Swamiji, the only thing that was running in me was because my Purashram family, my biological family, they have been following a few gurus like Raghavendra Swami and many gurus, and that is when collectively in Indian progressed to them blessing the family and everybody else into having a physical living master itself, the guru itself, I mean the avatar himself. So when I first knew Swamiji, I was like, okay, so there is this, of course the time this was my cognition, like there is this person, and his name is Paramahamsa Nithyananda, and now he is our guru. So it was not it was like a natural welcome into the family itself. Swamiji, because we have been following, like I said, a few gurus till we met Swamiji. And what happened was, the first way I connected with Swamiji was not like instantaneously, like whoo, like that, It's just like, okay, so now Swamiji is our guru, he's our guru, and he, should anything happen, he will be there. Just like the job of a god, like the cognition that I had back then, like what does God do? You only, like if you're really dying, that's when he comes, So that was the cognition that I had, like, okay, so Swamiji is now our guru, and should anything happen, he will be there, he's protecting the family and all of us. And that was just like, so it's like someone part of the family, but he will just do his job when it's really required, something like that. And slowly it progressed to when my Purashram mom, she started, parents, they started having, Swamiji had taken a place in our study room. That time it was a little bit unfortunate because it was a big space that Swamiji was given in the study room with my Purashram siblings and me. So this big huge picture of Swamiji with all the books and the mala and the CDs and the puja kit and all of these things. So naturally, how then the relationship progressed was, by then, by the way, I have not like seen Swamiji physically and those things. So then it progressed to like, okay, hi Swamiji, bye Swamiji. So if I'm going to school, bye Swamiji, I'm going to school. This is what I didn't do, this is what I did, so I'm facing this problem, so you better come and fix it. And then when I come back from school or like from classes, I would be telling everything to Swamiji, just like how after school, the moment I hop into the car, and I'll be telling my Purashram mom everything, like what happened, this happened, that happened, this didn't work, that worked, and this is what she said, that's what he said, and all of those things. When I go back home, on the way, by the time I reach home, I'll be done with her. The moment I enter the study room, it is with Swamiji. So most of my hours was spent in the study room. So literally Swamiji became like my friend, actually. Like I'll tell him everything, like this is what happened, this is what didn't happen, this is what I did, and this is how I even my mischief, everything, even how I would have cheated in exam, all of these things I would tell it to Swamiji, like in the picture. So, and I remember there was never like a second thought of, is he not listening? Is he really listening even? That was not there, but of course not like the picture mouth opened up and spoke to me, but the thought that maybe he's not listening wasn't there. It was like he's listening. So this is how it went for a long time. It's for so many months, maybe almost a year, over a year. And then what happened was, then it went to the next level, like in 2010 when the religious persecution broke out. And I think by then we had already seen Swamiji at least once when Swamiji came to Malaysia. And by then what had happened was, actually just before the persecution, we went, my like I would say, like the next level of the relationship with the master went to the next level was when like I physically connected, like from my heart I connected, was once in a devotee's house. I mean, their children are now brahmacharinis in Swamiji's sannyas order, and both of their daughters. So they were having a puja in their house, and what had happened was, actually just before that, so they had called us, and that evening we were supposed to go, and my Parashar mom, she finished work and she came back and she came to pick us up. So something had happened where I felt, well, something had happened, and the conclusion of that incident was that I felt like there is nobody for me. And it was actually such a like a petty incident, I would say, but it gave me that kind of a like a feeling, like literally I felt like nobody is there, I'm all alone, and nobody would be there for me should anything even happen or such things. So I was feeling literally like a orphan, and like a dead orphan, in fact. So that whole cycle, that whole thing is still like going on in me. Now we're reaching the house, and the puja was going on. I was just like bawling my eyes out, and it was bawling to Swamiji. I was like, see, nobody will be there. Everybody's here. I have someone called mother, I have someone called father, I have someone called siblings, I have someone called friends, great friends, but nobody is going to be there. Nobody is even there. Everybody have their own things to deal with. Nobody genuinely cares for me and those things. There was a point in the puja, somewhere in the middle or towards the end, I was like, the conversation went to, will you be there for me? And I was just still crying. Literally, I felt like orphan and like a widow, and like there's nobody at all. Like literally, like I'm all alone, like that. And actually, to think about it, it's so weird. The incident that happened, which triggered this, and I was still pickling in that for so many hours. And so then this conversation went this direction, and then after the puja they generally have like healing, because we had about 2 to 3 initiated healers by Swamiji at that time. So they did the healing, and I was one of the last person, and tell you, I was still crying. I was still like I lost everything in my life. And I sat in the seat, and I remember I just closed my eyes. I said, Swamiji, if you are the one who's going to be there in the end for me for everything, you will show me now. So what happened was, I closed my eyes, and like maybe 4 feet between Swamiji's picture and where I'm sitting, and the healer is like, if I'm sitting here, healer is just like right next to me. And what had happened was that I said this finally to Swamiji, and then I closed my eyes. Then I felt like a big hand on top of my head, and it's like pressing so hard. Then I was thinking, maybe because the person who's supposed to be healing is a female, and she's so thin and petite, and her hands is not even like bigger than mine, it's much smaller. The mother of the 2 brahmacharis actually. So I know her hand, but this hand is like maybe 3 times bigger and like more more heavier. And I just opened my eyes once to see, did the person change, did the healer changed, or is there 2 people? But it was still only her. And I closed my eyes back. I was just seeing, what is that thing that I'm feeling? And I'm like, am I hallucinating? Am I just imagining stuff? But no, I could literally feel like the 5 fingers just on my head, and the palm, it's like still, you can feel it so much. And when he was there for a long time, and then I felt like and then of course just maybe within 30 seconds I felt her hand, and I was like, is it 2 people? Then I open and see it's only 1 person. Then I closed my eyes back. I was still observing what is going on, and then after some time I realized I felt her hand is already out. And I'm seeing, is there any men around me? There is nobody. Again I close my eyes. I'm still seeing it. And after so long, then that click happened that it is Swamiji. That is when the hand even you could feel like it's leaving, like somebody's actually taking the hand off. It's not like it just disappeared. I was literally after that again like cried for so many hours, but this time for a completely different reason altogether. So that was how it went to the next level. And after a few months later, probably the persecution broke out. And of course, when the persecution broke out, many things happened, but for me personally there is nothing but I believe or don't believe, because only one thing I know, it's my relationship with Swamiji, and there's nothing like, oh, because of this experience I know he's right. There was nothing like that. It was like a tough time, that's all. So then those was like it was not much of like a victim, but rather I was then, that communication with Swamiji went to another level altogether. Like every night without fail, after everyone has gone to sleep, I'll take out my lamp which I smuggled from the office, my Purasham parents' workplace. I smuggled from there and I kept it in my closet, with my clothes, like hidden underneath, with a book, one particular book, where every night without fail, when after everybody goes to sleep, I would take out that book and that study lamp and fix it on my bed, and I would be writing pages after pages to Swamiji, like what all I will talk to Swamiji and what all I want to say to Swamiji. It's as well like, like how you watch in that Disney movies, you will write and then you just throw it and fly all the way to wherever you want. Of course, that was not the visualization at the time, but somewhat that kind of of a concept. So I would write every single day to Swamiji, and like believing, like really believing from a depth that he is receiving this letter. And you know what I will do after writing that letter? I'll like cry and the book will be wet, and pen also, it will lose its purpose of life. I'll take another pen because it doesn't know water, paper, it's wet, and that kind of a situation it was. And then what I'll do is, the next day in the morning, or sometime throughout the day, like after I come back from school, usually nobody will be at home except for me and my siblings. My siblings, they kind of knew that I was doing this, but they would know it's to deal with the temporary void of having Swamiji in the house, and they were like, they'll keep it quiet and all of that. So we were very in this way there was always teamwork. So after school I'll come back, I'll take the paper, I'll go to the back of the house and I'll burn it away. So when I burn it means that it's gone to Swamiji. That was the understanding that I had at the time. So I think this was like 2010. So you do the math. So that was the age, and after that it just got more and more stronger. And so now when I read this particular paragraph from Swamiji, just be authentic and integrated to about what you feel. Every state is right, every stage is right, every relationship is right. So even if like Swamiji maybe a day ago, or maybe so many years ago, or maybe a few months ago, whatever it is, the way how you can relate with Swamiji, just be that. And I'll read further. Swamiji says, whatever way you feel, be honest about it to yourself and the master, and he will guide you to find the goal. He says, whatever way you feel, be honest about it to yourself and the master, and he will guide you to the final goal. Don't set ideals by looking at others. So now, like, I'm sure especially when you come to know about Swamiji, you will come to know about many of the devotees and disciples and many other people. Just by looking at them, setting an ideal for yourself, like, oh, that's how it should be, relationship with Swamiji, that is when we even get into guilt, and the relationship then becomes not genuine, because your personal experience with Swamiji is in the end your personal experience with Swamiji. Its value is you can't compare it. It's incompatible with anybody else's relationship, because each one of us are gifted. That is literally the gift of being Swamiji's disciple, because each and every person's way of being with Swamiji, relating with Swamiji in their life and with Swamiji directly, is unique by itself. It's beautiful by itself. When we see others, especially now when his devotees and disciples are making lots of videos and his social media presence is increasing, and by nature itself, when you come to know about Swamiji, you'll come to know at least one other person in the Sangha, or another one more devotee or follower of Swamiji. Just by seeing them and setting an ideal for yourself is completely actually the way that contaminates the beautiful relationship that you have with Swamiji. And he says, he goes to say, your relationship with the Master is unique. You are close to him in your own way. Don't try to jump ahead of yourself. Then you'll create your own suffering and then feel guilty. So this is literally what it is. Just by seeing others, it's not that they are not genuine. They are genuine by themselves. But the problem is when others try to pick it up from them. And setting it is that is how it should be with the Master. That is when the real problem is. Because until you are genuine, your relationship with the Master, you are completely genuine. It's even that is how your personal relationship with the Master becomes like the most intimate part, the most core of your very life. Nothing else matters, not even his initiations, not even everything else will become secondary after that, because when you're staying genuine to the way how you hold the Master in you, because every phase is right, every stage is right, every state is right, every relationship with the Master is right. And Swamiji goes to say, I'm sorry for the background noise, it's raining heavily now. So accept yourself as you are, totally and unconditionally. The total acceptance will bring about an active and intense relaxation in which your natural intelligence will flower. Then the transformation that will happen, the realization will happen of what you always were deep within you. Suddenly you will see that you have started moving and flowing. You move towards realization just like river move towards the ocean on its own with no rules or directions from anybody. Start living and flowering. Enjoy the ultimate surrender to existence just as you are. So, one beautiful thing of this paragraph is that when Swamiji is saying, just being authentic and integrated about what you feel, about your relationship with the Master, naturally, the natural intelligence will start flowering. It's like the river will start merging with the ocean. And naturally, when you're being genuine to that relationship, it means actually, according to this, ultimate surrender to the existence, because your whole hold on the relationship with the Master is about your integrity, your authenticity with the way how about what you feel about. At this stage, this is what I'm seeing Swamiji, this is what I feel with Swamiji, this is what I am. When your hold on the relationship is only based on you and the Master, and sorry, and not through ideals set by somebody else or inspired by somebody else, that is the ultimate surrender to the Master. Because in our life, especially when having the avatar as the Guru, there'll be thousands of followers, just like how Swami Vivekananda had thousands of followers. But with Swamiji, what is special is, not special, the ultimate thing with Swamiji is, though having 1,000 people or maybe 1,000,000 of people in front of him, each and every person feels like he is responding directly to me, he is talking directly to me, he has happened only for me. That is actually when the ultimate surrender to existence is what I feel. So Swamiji says, he gave a very beautiful example for which like we can understand what is this whole concept about. Not concept, this truth about is, for example, if you're talking to a child, say a 5-year-old child, about philosophies, about some concept of philosophies, will the child understand? Of course not. And he will continue playing and jumping around and just being how a 5-year-old will be. Does that mean that he's wrong? Will he start feeling guilty? Of course not. Because it is beyond. At that moment, his stage is this, his space is this, his state is this. So even if you put on something, he will not feel guilty. The same way is the relationship with the Master. The only guidance, direction of your relationship with the Master is only you and the Master. It cannot be anybody else, and it will not be anybody else. So I actually love this chapter, this particular portion, and I can kind of understand why this came up when I actually asked the book before starting this video, what should I speak about. So a very beautiful and intimate and very close to the heart topic today is the Guru-disciple relationship. And Guru-disciple relationship is not like you need a prerequisite or you need a requirement. It is simply a decision. You can actually find that chapter in this book. I don't remember because it was so many years ago when I read that particular segment. But each and every one of us who's watching this video, if you're watching this video, just know one thing: this video is for you. It is not that it's by accident that this video came to your feed or whatever, because first of all, there are thousands of other people who are making videos on Swamiji, about Swamiji, and maybe a few hundred who's receiving this video, but only maybe the few 50 or few hundred will click and watch it till the end. So this message is directly for you from Swamiji. So thank you so much, and I've had such a great experience in sharing, including my the way how relationship started with Swamiji. And I would definitely recommend the program called NKY. See, it's not just a program plug, but I would tell you why. Because NKY, Nithya Kriya Yoga, is a program, a 4-day program, where for you to be more and more genuine with your relationship just by yourself. Like Swamiji said in this book, it is not through anybody, by anybody, or ideals set by anybody for that matter. It's only you and Swamiji. So for you to be more and more, when your relationship with the master is only based about yourself, and you're going in that, you'll definitely want to clear off even the blind spots or the gray areas of the baggages, which is not letting you be 100% in the relationship. See, when you feel how you'll feel like you are with Swamiji is when, even when you're walking on the streets, you will feel like he's just right next to you, he is with you, and you are his. That is literally like I've had that experience probably 2 months before quitting university and coming to take sannyas. I went to the city from a very from a place called a homely area. I went to the city to start studying. Went to university to do my degree, and of course, before going itself, since you are in high school, they tell you that, oh, if you go to university, there'll be peer pressure, this that. But with Swamiji's grace, he has completely removed all of this even from my sight itself. So that life, 3 months living away from my roots, means my family, and just having Swamiji in my life, that 3 months was so beautiful. And that is when actually I did multiple NKYs before that, which is that program with NKY is that Swamiji himself directly conducts that program. So that program, I would say, there are many benefits, these, that, many things, which any consumer would want to know, that's all. But why you should do NKY based on this video, I feel, is that to be able to 100% be in the relationship with the master, your past baggages, your pains, your sufferings, all of that need to by default leave you, need to be healed and completed, which can be done only by the master, because before even you saw Swamiji, Swamiji have chosen you. So he has seen you even in what you call as imperfections, and to perfect it, to complete it, to heal it, so that it comes back to life and becomes again part of you, where your involvement in the relationship with the master becomes more and more to the space of oneness, where there is the gap of duality, you and Swamiji, becomes much more less, and it becomes one. The oneness starts happening. So for the oneness to be achieved, to have the transparency of the thick wall called pain, suffering, incompletions, and baggages, NKY is one of the best programs. Of course, Inner Awakening, Mahasadashram, the 21-day program, is the ultimate that anyone can ask. It's like literally like the expressway. But it's your choice. Inner Awakening is available, Mahasadashram is available, it's happening in March. The same way, Nithya Kriya Yoga, you can do it from your own home or also from your local centers. This is applicable to any cities, any countries worldwide. So if you're watching this and if you're from Malaysia, you can call 010-461-4937 to know about the program. The program is happening on March 10th, this NKY program. It has a fee, a very minimal fee, and you can definitely sign up. And for all the global cities, I would put a link to the global link to which you can make the payment and know exactly how to join, if you want to join from home or if you want to join from a local center from the country you come from, or if you are still clueless after that, you can leave a comment below and I'll definitely respond to you. So thank you so much. See you next time. Nithyanandam.